What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for MLB Wednesday, August 10th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have an 8-game slate tonight, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. So of course a stud on the slate I like is Justin Verlander. He's expensive, he's been on fire, scoring 43, 45, and 55 fantasy points in the last 3 games. Averaging 43 fantasy points per game, has an ERA of 1.73, record is 15-3, pitching an average of 96 pitches per game. Now, he's the most expensive pitcher on the slate, so of course he's going to be a good pitcher here tonight, or a good play. But let's take a look at a lower salary pitcher. Now, this guy's not super low salary or anything, but you can save some salary if you want to come off of Justin Verlander. So take a look at Kyle Wright. He'll certainly be a lot less owned than Verlander, so I think it could be an interesting tournament play here. Kyle Wright, he's got a pretty good pitching advantage here over the Boston Red Sox. Kyle Wright, he's only giving up a .825 OPS versus lefties, a .724 OPS versus righties, facing 5 lefties and 4 righties. Now, the reason I think this is an interesting pick is because the Red Sox have only hit 5 out of his last 31 pitches. That's a 161 batting average. Kyle Wright is $10,400 FanDuel salary, 500 less on DraftKings, averaging 36 fantasy points per game on the season. He has an ERA of 3.22, record is 13-5, pitching an average of 91 pitches per game. So I think he makes a good tournament play. You can save some money coming off of Verlander. He's going to be less owned. So if he does go off, then he's going to give you an advantage in your lineup. So I like Kyle Wright here versus the Boston Red Sox. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. I like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now, I've liked this guy like the last 3 games, and he really hasn't done much. So I'm waiting for this guy to hit a home run or do something. I think it could come here tonight. He's got a 24% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Dean Kramer. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. batting 6% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .959 OPS versus righties. Dean Kramer pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 18% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .919 OPS versus righties. So the splits are fantastic. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is 2 for 5 here versus Kramer. And both of those hits were for home runs. He's $4,400 FanDuel salary, $1,600 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. Although the last 4 games, nothing fantastic. He had a 28 5 games ago, but since then been scoring like 3, 6, or 9 fantasy points. So I think he's due for a big game here tonight. He has a batting average of 287. So I like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. here versus Dean Kramer. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And then we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Ketel Marte. He's batting against the low salary pitcher, Mitch Keller. Ketel Marte batting a .773 OPS versus righties. Mitch Keller pitching his worst ball versus switch hitters, 16% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .948 OPS versus switch hitters. Ketel Marte, only 3,300 FanDuel salary. Now he is 1,700 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He's been on fire, scoring fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. Has a batting average of .261. So I like Ketel Marte here versus Mitch Keller. Okay, at the third base position, here's a stud I think is just in a fantastic spot. Take a look at Jose Ramirez with a 34% batting advantage over the low salary pitcher Drew Hutchinson. Jose Ramirez batting 12% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .937 OPS versus righties. Drew Hutchinson pitching his worst ball versus switch hitters, 22% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .811 OPS versus switch hitters. I like this pick because Jose Ramirez is 5 for 11. It's a .455 batting average and a 1.364 OPS versus Hutchinson. He's 4,000 FanDuel salary, 1,800 more on DraftKings, averaging 13 fantasy points per game on the season, scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, has a batting average of .284. So I like Jose Ramirez here versus Drew Hutchinson. Now guys, I'm going to make this video quick, so I'm just going over one pick at each position. But if you want to get all of my player picks, I have 20 players that I liked here for this slate tonight. You can try the Draft Dashboard 30 days trial and come on in and you can click on the cheat sheet, or you can go to the Pro Picks and look at Blazo's Pro Picks, and you'll see all the players that I like here on this slate. So just remember, if you guys want more of these picks that you hear me giving in these videos, just jump on over to draftdashboard.com, try the free trial. You get 30 days for $1. If you like it, that's awesome. Go ahead and keep it. If not, no worries, guys. Let's move on to the shortstop position. So here's a value play. I've given you some studs in this video, but take a look at this value pick here. I like Terrin Vavra. He's got a 68% batting advantage over Jose Barrios. Terrin Vavra batting 45% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .901 OPS versus righties. Jose Barrios pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, 24% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .850 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Barrios yet, but I like this pick because Terrin Vavra, only 2,200 FanDuel salary, 200 less on DraftKings. Now, in the last 3 games, he got 3, 2, and 5 at-bats. So I'm hoping that he gets up there for 3 to 5 at-bats here tonight. And he's averaging 7 fantasy points, but he scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. And he's got a batting average of .348. So I think this is a good buy low opportunity on Terrin Vavra here versus Jose Barrios. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. I like Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He's got a 26% batting advantage over the low salary pitcher Dean Kramer. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. batting 8% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .811 OPS versus righties. Dean Kramer, he's pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 18% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .919 OPS versus righties. And Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is 2 for 3 versus Kramer. Both of those hits are home runs. Only 2,900 FanDuel salary, 1,100 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season, scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, has a batting average of .309. So I like Lourdes Gurriel Jr. here versus Dean Kramer. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.